Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Conny Rios Escobar, and you can call me Conny or Coco, and I'll be presenting on my placement site with the Last Year Partnership. Specifically, this was working on the 30 by 30 campaign and local foods access. And my placement was really interesting in that it was not only between two partners, but split about in half. So the first with Friends of Plumas Wilderness was from September to mid-February. And then after that, I switched over to the Last Year Food Project, and that started mid-February, and it's running through the end of this month. And with Friends, the focus was forest and fire resilience work, and I'm currently working with Last Year Food Project on regenerative agri-food systems work. So the Lost Sierra is located in Northeast California, roughly between Chico and Reno. And it's where the Northern Sierras and Southern Cascades meet and the Feather Rivers flow. It's home to the Maidu, Paiute, and Washoe tribes. So why is this area important for climate resilience work? So the majority of the Upper Feather River watershed lies in Plumas County. This provides most of the water needs for the state water project. And as you can see from the map, the state water project sources its water from the Upper Feather River watershed, flows through Lake Orville and all the way to Southern California past Los Angeles. And it provides approximately 27 million people with drinking water and more than 700,000 acres of farmland with irrigation. So it's a super important area to protect. And so with my capacity building goals that were specifically centered around the 30 by 30 campaign, this aligned very directly with the mission of Friends of Plumas Wilderness, which is dedicated to studying, exploring, and maintaining the integrity of natural ecosystems where the Sierra and Cascades meet. And so my first goal was to do education and outreach. The second, support their membership drive. And the third, support a communications plan. And I'll now get into details about it. So with outreach and education, I supported social media engagement, such as managing their Instagram and Facebook accounts, and then also edited much of their website content. When I joined the organization, they were in the middle of like a major revamp of their now old website. So I supported a lot of like reading over that work and seeing what can be improved or changed. Also part of this goal was supporting event planning. So for instance, this Fire Footprint field trip, which was scheduled very early on in my fellowship in October. It aimed to provide space for discussions of post-Dixie fire effects. It was supposed to be like a pretty big turnout with multiple amazing guest speakers, with rotating breakout sessions where guests were going to be able to have conversations with all speakers. So I supported the planning of this event with promoting on social media. I created this flyer for them and managed reservations or RSVPs for this event. And it unfortunately was postponed due to COVID, but I wanted to include it here to give space to like that work that went into it. So then with my second capacity building goal, the membership drive, I supported their transition from an all volunteer base to membership organization. So again, when I had joined, they were in the middle also like building up their membership base, and they have a big community support, but they wanted to like formalize the process and just like show any interested parties that they do have this very good local support for them. So I was supporting like consolidating all that member information into a way to easily look at all that and I established a streamlined way to select perks. So on the left is like a screenshot of that Google form. So when someone becomes a member, they like get what's called a perk, which they might be like one of their shirts or some outing with the co-executive or the executive director and board members. So I supported that growing base. With the third goal, the communications plan, this one was most specifically supporting 30 by 30 work. For instance, increasing 30 by 30 awareness, because maybe some community members simply don't know what it even is. And so 30 by 30 is the now like worldwide momentum that supports conserving and protecting 30% of lands and waters by 2030. And so Friends of Plumas Wilderness was interested in getting local support for a local 30 by 30 campaign, local being the reach of Plumas County. And so for this goal of raising awareness, I helped to create 2 different ArcGIS story maps. And so if you go to their website, this image on the left is essentially what you'll see. It's like you can like click on it, and then here are screenshots on that specific story map. It includes the principles, which are catered to like the local campaign that they're trying to raise, and information on the amounts protected to raise awareness about gaps in protections. Another screenshot here is of a picture. And so another thing we wanted to include was just like beautiful images, because it's a beautiful place here. And that was a way to bring awareness to what's out here. And so with the second story map, Our Home, it can also be found on the main, on the website and one of their main screens. So here's a screenshot of like the beginning section, and this is like a very collaborative project with my supervisor and one of the board members. Like I remember one day we just sat down and we were just thinking through the tagline. So that was really good to like work together on that. Here's another picture. This one about Our Home was to raise awareness about about Plumas County and the Upper Feather River watershed, and this place that many people call home. So this other screenshot is about the Protect Plumas survey, which brings me to my next point about this capacity building goal. So in addition to supporting 30 by 30 awareness, I was supporting an action plan behind the local Protect Plumas campaign. So I helped to create this ArcGIS survey 123 story map, or survey 123 form. And on the left is a screenshot of that. And with this survey, the idea was to ask local interested community members like what they're interested in seeing protections for. And so it was very much aimed to get not only their support, but their like ideas about what places matter to them and what they'd like to see protected in the work for addressing climate change. And then lastly, with the communications plan, I directly supported internal communications plan work. And so this is a screenshot just of the first page. And as I mentioned, it's like an internal plan, so I couldn't include specifics, but in it includes like the survey results and steps for moving forward with that information. And I want to mention that I participated in weekly outings with my supervisors, and this really helped me to, first of all, like learn about this area I was in, and also helped me to like feel really motivated and encouraged about the work I was doing, because personally getting to go out there and see these areas that people care about and want to protect was really good for me to continue doing the work I was doing to support Friends of Plumas Wilderness. And so screenshot the blog I wrote for GrizzlyCorps about my field Friday. So if you're interested, check that out. So with Last Year Food Project, my capacity building goals were centered around local foods access. And so this also very directly related to its mission, which is to increase access to local foods for Plumas County residents, prioritizing underserved populations, provide workforce development programs, and create educational, food, and farming opportunities. And so our first goal was very much like Friends of Plumas Wilderness, to support outreach and education work. The second, youth educational programming. And the third, support the farm layout and implement best practices. So with the first goal, I aim to promote Last Year Food Project's mission and projects being defined as those events, programs, workshops held that directly relate to its mission. And so one thing early on talking with my supervisors was that they have a pretty good social media outreach, but they could engage a larger community than just social media could. And so I put this graphic here because it reminded me that, more traditional ways to get information out there is just as valid and useful. And so in this area, we have Plumas News, which I believe was still in print up until when the pandemic started, but now it's online. And so I was able to write an article about, first of all, like what even is a Last Year Food Project, and then another one on their farm books, which is really important for their startup costs and supporting the organization early on in the season. And then another one about a program where we currently have the Sun and Fun Summer Farm Camp. And then in addition, I wrote one for High Country Life magazine, which is an article, news publication in print. So that was really cool to see that printed. And then here's a screenshot of that highlight page we got in their July edition magazine, a local nonprofit highlight. And so that was really good to see it in print. And it's been really fun writing those articles. Another way I provided support with outreach and education was through website maintenance, updating events and some content and text, and again, engaging audiences through social media. Another way was, again, print is very nice to see and effective to just like hand out to people. So I created many flyers and infographics, and this has also been really fun to do. These are just some like screenshots of them. And it's just been really fun doing that. And so with my second goal with Last Year Food Project, youth educational programming, I coordinated and co-hosted K-6 field trips. It was about 10 student groups, and I reached out to Quincy Elementary and Plumas Charter School Plumas Charter School teachers to see if they'd like to bring their classrooms out to the farm for interactive field trips. And I didn't write this article of kindergartners visit a local farm, but someone else did, and it was really great to see that. See that in Plumas News. In addition to like coordinating that, I led some of these field trips, and that was also really good to be part of leading these student groups. So Also part of the second capacity building goal was to help support the summer camp, which is a first in the organization's history. So I worked to promote and coordinate what I started calling, and which I think kind of stuck, was Sun and Fun, a week-long summer farm camp for kids ages 5 through 8. And so I I attended meetings with our farm outreach, a farm educator, and we worked together along with like a field hand to create this program. And we're currently in the middle of it. It's our third day and it's going really well so far. Yeah, I'm currently assisting with activities and learning a lot of skills for working with youth. My third goal with the Lost Year Food Project was to support the construction of the kids zone. So this image is of that area that we call the kids zone, where we hold most of our programming and workshops. And so I've attended committee meetings that address planning additions like an outdoor kitchen or other space we'd like to see there. And so I've very directly been helping to shape how we want that space to look like. And so some final thoughts about it. With Friends of Plumas Wilderness, it was like a typical office schedule. I worked in relatively smaller teams, and it was like huge learning experience because I'm like so new to that whole world of conservation. Whereas with Lost Year Food Project, I had a varying field schedule. I worked with various community members, and I was more comfortable in this work simply because I had a bit of more background in regenerative ag work. But with both, I feel like I've achieved transferable outreach, event, programming, promotion skills. I've been able to network across different disciplines and been able to support both these organizations that are small and young. And it's been really like satisfying and great to support their work and also feel like your opinions and ideas are really valued and in real time implemented. And so these are my references, and thank you all so much for attending my presentation.
Awesome, thank you so much, Conny. Let me stop the recording.